I have sat with clients multiple times and I have asked them this question: what is it that you want? And far too often I hear the client answer, well, what I don't want is. So I have to gently stop them and rephrase my question and let them know that I actually asked, what is it that you do want? And oftentimes they just don't know. So that makes me think that they do not know what their values are tangibly. Words. I love words. They don't have that capacity to say, I value compassion. I value willingness. I value spontaneity. I value integrity. So when we know these words, they become a part of our lives. And the dictionary definition actually says values influence your life. And we want to be able to respond to certain situations in life with our values at hand. We want to be able to set goals with our values at hand. So today I'm going to give you 2 really practical tips that you can add to that toolbox that can become great resources for you to get to know a little bit more about what your values are. So the first one is, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but it's really simple. www.16personalities.com. It's 16personalities.com. This is a Myers-Briggs test, and it's online, it's free, and it's multiple choice, and it takes about 45 minutes, however you answer the questions. They're all multiple choice. But what it does is it gives you 4 letters to describe a little bit more about your personality. And I love this test. It's not 100% scientific, but it's very valuable in getting to know your values, what kind of resonates with you. So when you get these 4 letters, read through the paragraphs that describe your strengths and weaknesses, your relationships, your career choices, things about you, what kind of personality you are. Because when you can grab a few ideas from those thoughts, they can stick with you. So for example, I did it a long time ago, and I remember one of the words they mentioned was advocate. And I was like, oh, I don't know what that is. So I looked it up in the dictionary, and it says a lot of it has to do with being a lawyer maybe, but it had to do with helping be behind someone, like pushing them forward, like helping them move from here to here and helping them see and know and understand and change so that they can do this for themselves. And I'm here as an advocate to support you. So that's what it meant for me when I understood that. And when I became a counselor, I'm like, wow, that's one of the things on my career list is they said I'd be a good counselor because advocates are. And I was like, I love that. So now I've taken that word advocacy and I've created it as a really important value in my life. So if you want to have more ways that you can respond to certain situation and different ways to set goals, you need values behind you. And the dictionary definition actually says values influence your life. So without values, you're kind of wayward and you're not sure where you're going and what you're doing. And sometimes you react in certain situations that are like, oh, I forgot my value was this and I forgot to use that because I didn't know it. I didn't see it. I didn't tangibly write it down and define it and use it in my everyday life. So that's just a really simple way for you to gain a little access for yourself to understand yourself a little bit better and to gain some values that way. The other exercise I have for you is just by Googling values list and clicking images, you'll see a whole list of images that have hundreds of words on them. So just pick one that has a lot of words on it. Like I saw one called the Big Values List, and just click that. And what you want to do for this exercise is get your pen and paper and write down 10 words that mean something to you, that you value, that you know are a part of your life already, or that you want to be a part of your life. So for example, I have like integrity, compassion, willingness, spontaneity, approachability. So those are some of my words that I've chosen. Now you can totally use the dictionary to define these words, and that's really helpful to start. But just like in school, we don't want to plagiarize, so we want to get the definitions for ourselves, what they mean to us. And just for an example, the word approachability is such a massive value in my life, because I remember when I moved to Kelowna, I was by myself, I was single, and I had to go to these events to get myself known and find some friends, and it's really intimidating. It's not fun. I don't enjoy it. And having done my Myers-Briggs test, I learned that I was an introvert, so this is even worse for me to go to these things. So I go to these events, and I have one woman who comes up to me and is like, "Hi, I've never seen you before. What's your name? What do you do for work?" And, "Oh, okay, great. Come with me." And she actually grabbed my arm, took me by the hand, and just said, I'll introduce you to all these people. And it was just so wonderful. And she was so approachable that I thought, wow, do I ever value that? So then later, when I started going to all these events and becoming a part of these groups, I was an event planner for one group that I would sit there and, take tickets for people. And I always would notice a single person walking in, and it's so intimidating that I made sure that I utilized the value that I learned that was really valuable for me. And I, was able to say hello to this person and ask them, if it's their first time, and then take them to a table to say, "I'm going to introduce you to a couple people." Like, that made me feel so good. And also that it led me to influence others and support others and advocate for others, which is exactly what I love. So when you get to know all these things about yourself, they all tie in together. So it doesn't matter how you respond to certain situations. You want to have your values behind you, guiding you to solving certain situations. You want to have your values behind you, guiding you to set goals and moving forward in your life. So those are my 2 tips. Go to www.16personalities.com and Google values list and do an exercise that will help you define these words that mean something to you, and then you can start living by them. Have a great one.